Hey YouTube land, Tycondrius here, coming back at another action figure review, and today we're having a look at a Mattel Creations exclusive Hammond Collection Dr. Wu figure. So it comes in this kind of standard brown mailer box from Mattel Creations, but it also comes in a double box. So once you open the standard mailer box, you are treated to this amazing classic retro Jurassic Park logo box, and it just has the 30th anniversary information around it, and just has Jurassic Park on the top, and then all the legalese stuff on it. But it's this kind of shiny black box with the classic original Jurassic Park logo on it, and when you open that up, there is a small, in fact, there is a small little tab up here that you have to open up, and that will activate the rest of the box, because there is a gimmick to this box. So once you have that out, you're treated to this awesome looking storage. I think it's supposed to be the doors to the lab, and when you open it up, it has this really nice detailed interior which showcases the figure and all of these bits here. It is quite a hefty box because there is this button up on top, as you may see, and when you press it,
it's a Velociraptor. And now we can make a baby dinosaur. There's no unauthorized breeding in Jurassic Park. Just one drop of your blood contains billions of strands of DNA. Perfect timing. A DNA strand like me is a blueprint for building a living thing. It's really not that difficult. Bingo. Dino DNA. It's a Velociraptor. And now we can make a baby dinosaur.
And it just repeats that then. It's nicely laid out, so if you didn't want to actually remove the figures, because you also get this Mr. DNA or whatever his name is, which sits in here, and obviously when he's in here and you press the button,
there's no unauthorized breeding in Jurassic Park.
Wu's audio, and then it
just
goes through.
One drop of your blood contains billions of strands of DNA.
It highlights the figures, each figures as they're talking, which is quite nice. But obviously I have the figure taken out of the box, but it is quite a nicely displayed packaging. You can see the audio pieces up here in the top, and the light pieces are in the top. And as far as I'm aware, I don't think there's any other accessories. I haven't pulled the box apart. I don't want to actually open up all the box. But then on the back, it just says, bingo, Dino DNA. During the tour of the lab at Jurassic Park, head geneticist Dr. Henry Wu confirms that by controlling dinosaurs' chromosomes, there is no unauthorized breeding. However, the strategy to fill in the sequence holes with frog DNA seems to prove otherwise. And then it has a kind of a nice retro style Jurassic Park logo on the top. In fact, I believe this might be the one that they used in the buildings and stuff like that, maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but it is quite nicely laid out. And then once you have that all taken apart, and if you want to, you are treated to the Dr. Henry Wu figure. He comes with some accessories. In fact, he comes with the smallest accessory I think I've ever seen on any figure. So his default look is this. I haven't actually switched out any of his hands. He comes with a clipboard. The weird thing about clipboard is it looks like it's covered in blood, but I don't think that's the intended look for it, or the way it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be like red marking where he's checking stuff off, but it just has this very red blood smeary look to it. It is a clear plastic piece, so just be wary. It's a clear plastic piece with, I believe, a sticker on it. I don't think it's a paint app. I think it's a sticker. It's kind of hard to tell. It could be painted. So if it is painted, just be wary. And that goes for the hand itself. The hand that this is on is clear plastic with painted. I don't think that's the same. Actually, it might be the same for the other hands. I haven't actually checked. I think these might be standard, the optional hands, but this particular hand is a clear plastic hand with paint apps on it. I think this left hand is a normal hand, just with the normal kind of standard way they've done the other hands. And then he comes with this, the world's smallest accessory for any probably figure in the world, which is his tiny pencil, I think it was, or was it a pen? I can't remember if it was a pen or pencil. It's a very gummy, rubbery plastic thing, and I know I'm probably off screen doing this, but you can squidge it into his little hand, and you can have him writing down notes on his clipboard. It does fit in his hand quite tightly, so if you leave it in his hand, it should hopefully stay there and shouldn't get lost. But it is a very small rubbery piece. It is, I think, one of the smallest accessories I've ever seen on a figure that is a separate piece, completely, not something added to a figure like the microphones on some of the old G.I. Joe figures. But yeah, it is something very small and worth noting that it could go missing. So the overall look of this figure, he does look a little weird because it looks like he's wearing a big diaper, but it's supposed to represent the what are they called, the, oh, I know there's a specific name for them. Is it dry suit or something like that? The that lab technicians wear. The kind of, it's supposed to be that kind of, you know, dry room sort of suit that they wear in laboratories, just for less contamination and stuff like that. Obviously, he doesn't have a full enclosed head piece or anything like that. But you can see he has like gloved up hands. The leggings are kind of tied off. He's wearing kind of white. I imagine these would be like hospital gown or hospital style surgery shoes sort of things. I don't think you really see him from you really kind of more see him from like the waist up in the film. I don't think you see the whole way, but like he's wearing quite a kind of standard kind of hospital attire, laboratory attire kind of uniform. He does have his badge. He's predominantly just a white basic figure. He does have his InGen badge. The likeness isn't too bad. I'm not entirely sure if I think it looks like him or not, but it's not too bad, I suppose. The Mr. DNA thing is just a figure on a stand. There's no articulation on that thing. And then the other accessory he comes in, there goes Mr. DNA flopping over. He comes again with the same, I think might be the same egg that Grant came with the baby velociraptor in it. But it is a small dinosaur egg with the baby velociraptor. Actually, I think the one that Grant came with actually has a slightly larger velociraptor poking out. I do believe he does have a hand for holding the egg. I haven't swapped it out. I'm a little afraid to swap out the hands just on those small pegs, but I think the intention is that you can have him kind of cradling the egg in this slightly more open closed hand. His other hand is just a generic kind of closed hand, and it's far too closed for it to hold the egg. And as I haven't swapped out any of these, I'm kind of afraid of swapping out this one in case there's paint rub on the peg. But I think the peg itself may be not clear plastic. I think the peg itself is a standard kind of just plastic peg, but it's the hand is the clear plastic with the paint on it. So depending on your figure, this could be a contender for QC issues. So just be aware of that. But all in all, he's not too bad. He has standard articulation of the Hammond collection, so arm can rotate all the way around. Has a single jointed elbow. Has that hand with the wrist, or hand with extra articulation point in the wrists. He does have a waist swivel, which is quite tight on mine. He does have the all jointed head. He does have legs that can kick forward. Has a thigh swivel. Double jointed knees, so he can actually kick his own butt. And he has rocker ankles and peg holes on the bottom of his feet. So all in all, he's not a bad figure. Is he worth the slightly more expensive price point for these guys? I'm not too sure. I would have preferred him to be kind of more standard price point, but I think he's a little bit more expensive if I remember correctly. Well, he was for me to get him imported over here. He does stand just around the 3 3/4 inch line, so he is in that scale. And we will bring in his other InGen and boss. So we'll bring in Hammond first. This is the Hammond Collection version of Hammond. All these guys should be the Hammond Collection version, with the exception of the two generic kind of Park guys. So this is the Hammond Collection version of Nedry, if we can get his feet to look a bit more natural. This is the Escape Dennis Nedry, as you would probably call him. I believe there is another version of him which has the kind of Hawaiian shirt, and it doesn't have the yellow rain jacket, and I think that was another exclusive, if I remember correctly. But I can't remember if that was Legacy or if it was just a Legacy, or if it was another Hammond Collection. Here is Ray Arnold, and then I have the right version, the other Park employee of Robert Muldoon. So we'll get him standing up. And then for these are Legacy, so I'll put them over here at the end here. This is the generic kind of Park employees that were part of that the Velociraptor Containment Chaos set. So it is quite a big kind of casting of the kind of InGen employees. It would have been nice to get a few kind of generic well, there was a couple of generic kind of employees that were driving people around, and then there was the, what's his name, Dr. is it not Sattler, what was his name? Oh, his daughter is the character from the second film, and it's completely slipped my mind. It's Julianne Moore's character. Harding, Dr. Harding, that's it. The Dr. Harding character that was with the tranquilized Triceratops. That would be a nice another figure for them to kind of dig out and make into a either Legacy version or into a Hammond Collection version. But all in all, it is a nice figure. It does kind of round out the kind of main cast of the movie. I think the only one missing, actually, is there anyone missing now? Gennaro is a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, so he was harder to get than anyone else. There is Tim and Lex, so they've gotten figures. I believe with Dr. Wu, that finishes out the main cast of characters that were in the movie. I don't think there's any kind of like other characters that were in that had main roles in the movie that I can think of, other than the Dr. Harding, although he was in only kind of one scene, but he did have I believe he had a speaking role for that scene. So other than that, I think that's the only kind of main character really that hasn't had a figure, but everyone else has. I would, as I said, I would like to get the alternate version of Nedry where he's, you know, sitting at his desk, because he doesn't have the yellow rain jacket on all the time. I know this is more of an iconic scene for him, but like to have a generic kind of version of him as well would be kind of nice. So all in all, it is a really nicely put together figure. It has all the kind of standard articulation of the Hammond Collection line of what you'd expect. And I do stress, be careful with his accessories, especially that tiny little pen, but also the extra hands and the egg, the dinosaur egg. That's another contender for easily lost accessory. So if you do go for this guy, probably best to have some sort of packet, like a baggie or some sort of a thing that you can put all his accessories in one spot so you don't lose them over time. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed this quick video review of the Dr. Henry Wu Mattel Creations exclusive figure. And as always, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I hope you enjoy your day. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching.